For almost half a century, Voyager 2 has gone farther than any human-engineered object ever sent into the universe, passing through the outer planets of the solar system and pushing into the unseen edge known as the heliopause, the point where the sun's magnetic field stops and real interstellar space begins. Originally built to last only 5 years for a mission, the spacecraft has survived generations of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. Since its launch in 1977, Voyager 2 has functioned not only as a spacecraft, but as a symbol of humanity's desire to explore, to learn, and in the end, to communicate with the unknown. But now, that long, silent journey has been turned into a crisis drama. And in the most literal way possible, Voyager 2 has just done that. It turned. Over 12 billion miles from home, in an area where human influence is just a faint whisper, the spacecraft made an impossible choice. Without direction, without procedure or prodding, it altered course. It pointed its sensors and instruments not out into the limitless unknown, but backward, back toward the direction it had traveled from, toward Earth, the Sun, and the planets it had so long ago left behind. And then, very shortly, it sent a burst of data unlike any ever received. At Mission Control, the signal arrived in pieces, but what became clear silenced the flight team into awe. Voyager 2, the craft constructed with technology from the late 1970s and programmed to execute hard-coded instructions, had acted as though it had been making a decision. Through the months preceding the event, the probe was emitting its normal quiet telemetry, readings that indicated an almost empty and peaceful space. Since venturing beyond the heliopause in 2018, Voyager 2 had been drifting within a sector of space long thought to be unexciting, cold, quiet, and motionless. That impression has now been entirely reversed. At exactly 3:16 Universal Time Coordinated, Voyager's telemetry revealed a slight but unmistakable change in its attitude. Not a drift, not a malfunction, but a calculated turn. Its high-gain antenna, always aimed at Earth, momentarily swiveled. What is even more surprising is that Voyager 2 does not have autonomous reorientation capability, not without an order from Earth. Its navigation systems rely on preloaded commands and minimal software. It's not designed to improvise. And yet, it did. From the data logs, the reorientation of the antenna was computed, efficient, and then, after a hesitation, it went back to its original heading. That hesitation was no accident. Voyager seemed to have paused to listen. What it heard, or more accurately, what it measured, has raised alarms in the community of astrophysicists. Its instruments captured a spike in several streams of sensors during that momentary lapse. Magnetometers spiked. Dormant particle detectors, which had not produced significant data in years, sprang to life. And most ominously, the plasma wave subsystem, the unit that was supposed to find electromagnetic plasma oscillations, recorded something. Not any kind of signal, but a narrowband transmission. It was rhythmic, formal, and unmistakably artificial. It pulsed with mathematical certainty, oscillating in a manner which could not have been achieved by natural means. For perspective, Voyager 2 has sailed past the gas giants, through the solar wind, and into space. It has been exposed to cosmic radiation, planetary magnetospheres, and solar flares. But never once has it picked up a signal such as this. And the most confounding aspect? The signal was short range. That indicates something was close to the spacecraft. Something had moved up, trailed, or maybe had been sitting there waiting, camouflaged. Whatever it was, it had gone undetected until this moment. With the vastness of space and limitations of long-range observation, the notion that something, the object, or intelligence, could move undetected isn't beyond the realm of imagination. But what the implications would be are mind-boggling. Scientists have long theorized about extraterrestrial intelligence, generally in the form of far-off radio signals or optical flares from stars hundreds or thousands of light-years away. This wasn't either. This was local. Instantaneous. Voyager wasn't only getting a signal, it was being observed. The readings in the plasma waves indicated something more than artificial signal activity. They indicated a perturbation of the interstellar medium. This part of space, though very tenuous, is filled with charged and neutral particles influenced by magnetic fields. But what Voyager 2 detected resembled a ripple, and structured ripple, the type which theory predicted under the influence of gravitational disturbances. Except that there was no known celestial object close by. No black hole, no asteroid, no lone planet. Nothing we have any knowledge of could have done it. Then arrived the anomaly that shattered everything. For 22 minutes, Voyager 2 started sending packets of data that had no meaning. Engineers initially thought they were garbled by cosmic noise, but examination showed the data fulfilled all checksum tests. It wasn't garbled, it was intentional. The packets took on a shape that resembled a programming language. Binary in structure, to be sure, but not of any recognized syntax. There were nested patterns, repeating sequences, and what some analysts thought might be recursive logic, loops inside loops. The code even appeared to be self-referential, hinting at the potential for self-editing subroutines. Voyager 2, a ship without artificial intelligence or learning capacity, had somehow become a channel, a doorway. Something had interfaced with it. And importantly, the orientation shift took place precisely 10 hours following the registration of a high-energy neutrino burst in the IceCube Neutrino Observatory in Antarctica. The neutrinos had come from the same region of space Voyager had just traversed. This was not an accident. Neutrinos don't often interact with matter. They zip through planets as if none existed. For Earthbound detectors to be able to see a burst that strong, and for it to coincide so exactly with Voyager's time of departure, can only mean one thing: whatever caused the neutrinos happened with great power. With tremendous energy. And probably on purpose. The timing suggests that Voyager moved through a place that was not empty by any means. It was inhabited. And whatever was there reacted, not with a long-distance signal, but with proximity. Voyager's turn was not mechanical. It was reactive. Nearly sentient. Even more unsettling was what followed. Hidden in the binary signal was a recurring visual pattern, a geometric shape consisting of 3 interconnected spirals, creating a type of whirlpool. The pattern did not exist in human culture, language, or science. And yet, it repeated and repeated, stamped across the signal like a watermark. It was not interference. It was meant to be visible. To be identified. Voyager 2 has limited power reserves. Powered by a thermoelectric generator that produces electricity from heat generated by decaying plutonium-238, its power output declines each year. Every transmission now is urgent. And the one containing the spiral symbol was the most power-hungry transmission because it traveled through the heliopause. To make this information a priority, some of Voyager's other instruments had to be temporarily powered down. That choice, as well, seems to have been made autonomously. It was as if the probe itself knew the significance of what it had found. And then, suddenly, the signal ceased. Not failed. Not lost. Ceased. Voyager 2 returned to its quiet telemetry as if all had been normal. But it wasn't. The spiral pattern still encoded on a regular basis, a haunting reminder of the instant of contact. Mission control engineers watched their screens in stunned silence. The spiral illuminated each monitor, emblazoned with the precise timestamp of the turn. It was more than a symbol, it was a declaration. A presence. Not human. Not explained. The biggest fear for many in the scientific community was never invasion by aliens or evil purpose. It was contact without context. The understanding that something out there could watch us without sharing its intent. Without regard for whether we comprehended. Voyager 2, which was sent into space with gold records that carry the voices of humanity, humans' voices, music, salutations in several languages, has perhaps been answered at last. But the response was not one of greeting. It was in silence. In the winding of an old machine. In the rustle of neutrinos. In the leave of a spiral. It is now thought that Voyager 2 crossed a boundary. Not a gravitational boundary. Not a thermal boundary. A cognitive boundary. A boundary of awareness. Something sensed it. Something reacted. And in that reaction, humanity perhaps bridged the first step toward realizing that we are not alone, and never were. The ship still functions. Information continues to drizzle in. Scientists scrutinize each frame of that unusual transmission. But no one can escape the sense that something has changed at its core. Not only in Voyager, but in us too. Our understanding of space has been altered. No longer uninterested. No longer mute. The spiral logo is forever burned into Voyager's electronic consciousness. Like a logo. Like a signature. Some think it is an invitation. Others think it is a warning. But everyone is in agreement on the one thing: it is a message. And messages, by definition, must be replied to. As Voyager 2 travels on, all alone in the dark, we sit back and listen. We wait. We wonder. And we realize, maybe for the first time in our lives, that space remembered us. That the old emptiness spoke back. That something out there faced us. And Voyager turned back.